Yo, GM, everybody, how we doing? Today is Wednesday, March 15th. I cannot believe we're halfway through this one already. Jeepers creepers. And then that means once we get through this month, does that mean we're through the first quarter of 2023? Get ready for Q2. What's going on this morning, everybody? Turbo, GM, Sir, Kid, AI Love, bring you on up here. Good morning, Showbiz. We got Josh in the house, Carrie in the house, Corey in the house. Corey, what are you doing listening on Twitter Space, man? Hey, first off, I don't know if your wife had your baby yet or not, but congratulations from not only me, man. I'm going to say it because I will speak for the entire Web3 Breakfast community when we say congratulations to you and your family when the new arrival comes. If that was last night or today, big ups. You can shoot me a DM and let me know. And but congratulations to you and your family. That's so exciting. Girl dad times 3. Doing some things, man. Here we go. GM.
Look, there's our first Web3 baby being born. Look at that. How beautiful, man. I'll tell you, man, like having kids, geez Louise, that's the scariest thing I ever experienced in my entire life. I remember when my first son was born, I was just like, yo, I know for a fact now that if it was up to men to have babies, we would have never made it. Because Jay, as soon as I would have seen you have a baby, I've been like, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. I
could tell you one thing right now. I have so much respect for women that have children. When I get a cold, I turn into a baby. When I don't feel good at all, I turn into just a puddle of mush and I just want to lay in bed. I could not imagine carrying a child for 9 months and then pushing that thing out. Nope. Women, y'all are the real heroes here. We obviously none of us are here without you. So it is just right that not only, the other day we celebrated International Women's Day, but it is, Women's History Month. We need to be celebrating the ladies that raised us, that taught us right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very respectful man, and it's because I was raised by a very strong woman, and I've got 3 sisters that are strong women. I've got nieces that are strong young ladies. My daughter is going to be a strong lady, and I am super excited to see it all happen. So that's an even longer-winded way again of saying congratulations to when that new addition comes to your family, Corey. But definitely appreciate you being here this morning. That means a lot.
Jay, and I actually have a mom song loaded up in the queue from a Web3 artist, man. And as everybody's kind of loading in, because today, we're going to be going a little bit longer. We got some special guests coming in the house. I say we got some special guests dropping in. This is just one track, you know what I mean? I absolutely love, for the moms out there. And if Mama J Chains is watching, man, you raised one hell of a son. And I'm going to kick that off, Jay. What you think?
Hey, I think, remember, yesterday we added in a song to the morning show. I think maybe we put a few in here moving forward. One, we know that Matthew and Doug, while they're not here yet, we do know that they like to dance. So this could be, like one of those things where, we put the tune out, we put the song out, and that's like the Batman call. And now all of a sudden we'll see them both pop in. So I like that idea. While we listen to a little music, guys, please go ahead and retweet the room. Let's get some more fantastic Web3 Breakfast community members into house on this beautiful hump day.
The best that there ever was and the best that there ever is. My mother. Dear mama, listen. This one for you. The truth. Dear mama, I'm so grateful for you. Look where I am on the highest mountain, but still I gotta stand. For everything that you meant and everything you are a movie star and we on Hollywood. I want to take you up because it's what you deserve. I think you could achieve all that you believe. So listen to all your dreams, and now we about to just run. See, everything that they keep talking about is what I have said. You beautiful. Listen, yeah. One more time, you know what I had said? You're beautiful. Like, yeah. Everybody's speechless because you defeated your demons. I love being at the top and they keep believing. Even though I'm a heathen, you said the darkness always tries to creep in the shadows of the depths, and now I start. You really put me back, I know it's arc. And now your whip is pushed to start. So tell me where we gonna start, from the future, from the past, cause I know I loved every second that you have really had with me. All the things that you had did, pushing 2 carts every day when you pregnant, like what you did for me. And I promise I won't cry when the feelings cold inside. Look at what we had survived inside the ride. Remember, we ain't have no home, but you still made me so proud inside. You know what? Let me take this second and just say I really do appreciate everything that you've done for me. And the woman that you are really inspired the man that I am today. We're back to the track. I love you, mama. Look at what you really did. Achieving everything, defeated all your demons. I'm so proud. Say you the GOAT.
Shout out to all the moms out there, man. Shouts out to the mamas. Yo, thank y'all for being here. This is the Web3 Breakfast, man. We are getting it going. We are having some issues getting some people up. So if you are requesting, I'm saying, it just is spinning. So we are trying to figure it out. But yo, we have some great people in here. Jay, man, we got Kitten up here. Yo, Jaw in the building. Had a great conversation with Jaw, man. Somebody definitely out there crushing it. And the kid called Love. What's up, baby Love? What's up?
What's going on? It's your boy, a kid called AI, man. And, it's Big Love in the building, man. Shout out to Jay Change. We already got the breakfast going. I don't know if y'all seen in the post-pin chat. You can't see my good cup of Starbucks caramel frappuccino macchiato venti with a little bit of French play on it, and then we got the Impossible sausage. So that's what we rocking in today's breakfast. It's one of my favorite meals of the day. It's probably why I love this space so much. So if you hadn't, make sure you go to the lower right hand corner. There's a little bubble. If you hit the bubble, ain't in trouble. You'll see a little repeat. You hit that, it puts the room on retweet. We spread the community out to the message out to the community. Took a long time to get that together.
Oh, that sounded really good, though. Hey, and I think, Turbo, I think we made it happen, right? Matthew just popped in. We knew if we put on the song for people to start dancing, we knew at least one of those guys were going to come in. So Dougie didn't make it, but Matt, he heard the bat call and or the bat signal, whatever it's called, and he made it. I love it.
Dougie was probably out late last night dancing, you know what I'm saying? He was probably in the club too late. So he probably just getting a little extra sleep. He's still dancing in his dreams right now.
I would think that that's actually very accurate. But GM, everybody, thank you for showing up for Web3 Breakfast. Like Turbo said, guys, this is a community forum by the community for the community. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, all you got to do is request to speak. We have one rule here and one rule only. It's just don't be a douchebag. So please feel free to request to speak. I do know that we're having a little issues. We maybe need to do another co-host kind of thing maybe that'll help. Kenton, are you give me a thumb up if you're cool with being the co-host so we can get more people up? Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's combat Twitter because man, they're like the whole what is it? The spinning. What does it say when they're coming up and it shows the spinning little loop forever?
Connecting.
And ever? They never connect. Oh yeah, no, I don't even know what Twitter's doing these days. Not sure what's going on.
Yo,
what up, gang?
Oh. What's up, Squirt? How you doing? I got to take 2 seconds real quick, Squirt. I'll tell you about it, because I got to tell Ken something real quick, man. Ken, I got to be 100% honest with you, Ken. Bro, I've missed you, man.
Yeah.
I freaking missed you, bro.
Oh, thanks, Turbo. Thanks, Jay. I'm here. I'm just doing IRL stuff sometimes, and I get really distracted by it. But I don't know. I have way more fun on Spaces. What am I doing? Focusing on priorities these days? But no, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me up this morning.
Dude, always, that that's what you should be doing right now. This is the time to be, to take your time, spend it wisely. It is our most precious commodity. We cannot get any more of it. So if you got to take the time to get some things done in order to build the future that you want, that's what you got to do. Twitter Spaces will be here. Web3 Breakfast will be here every single day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. So if you miss today, it's cool. Just come tomorrow. If you miss tomorrow, don't miss Friday. You don't want to miss Friday. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Pizza party is always great. And, I don't want to say it out loud, but, we're really trying to take this thing to the next level, Ken. And you're definitely, someone I definitely enjoy being right next to me here, man. So, to everybody, in the community, we got Carmen in the building. If you're not following Carmen, please do that. Go follow Carmen. get in her DMs, try to get her on the phone, whatever you can do. She's hard to get in contact with, but if she gives you your time, it's going to be well invested. You know what I'm saying? And to everyone, Matthew in the building, man, kick all love. Today, Jay, I was thinking, really last night about, just community. I know we had that conversation about, communities and tribes and like what we're doing, but like, for like these projects and for communities to be able to, to strive and to create value in these things, it's like, what do we expect out of the community?
Dude, that's a great question. I'm definitely excited to hop into that. So, we kind of alluded in the beginning of the show, we're going to have a special guest. We're going to run the show a little bit longer today at 11 a.m. Eastern. So in about 45 minutes, somewhere around there, we got Raspy with a kid called Beast. He's going to be popping in here.
Hey, what?
Yes, sir. So we got to get the word out. That's why I said today we're going to have a beast of a show. So we got Raspy coming in. Hopefully we can get some more of the AKCB community in here, because that's the whole point. We'll be definitely be able to ask some really good questions and have a great conversation with him. But that's the most important thing to talk about today is, what are the reasonable expectations that, a founder should have with their community? Because, it has to be a symbiotic relationship, right? That's the only way for it to work. Like the community has to represent the project has to represent the community. I think that's the way we got to look at it, right?
100%.
That's
I feel like it
100%.
should be a balance of both.
Who's next?
Yeah, as long as the chain of information is going from the buyer straight to the founder, and he's able to kind of just make sure he's adequately getting to everyone's needs, I feel like that's good,
Well, Squirt, you said it right there, right? The founder getting to everyone's needs. Bro, I'm gonna tell you, like the amount of pressure and things that go on in a founder and the expectations, I think is just it's unreasonable. It's unreasonable. I think that we, and this is me personally, and that's why, we want to have this conversation. We want to find out, what I'm saying, from the community, what I'm saying, like what should a community be, be responsible for? Because everything can't be on the founder, right? We don't get upset at like Nike ain't never sent me not one airdrop, but yet I pay for their shirt and advertise for them. Go ahead, Squirt.
I feel like definitely no one should be treated like better than one person. I know in a lot of projects I've been in, they try to go for the whales or try to make sure the whales are happy, but then they completely forget about like the 80% of people that aren't the whales. So I feel like as long as everyone's voice like matters, that's one of the most important parts, because you may be only like helping the whales, but the whales their opinions don't count for the rest of the people that been supporting you without money. Maybe they're not putting as much money in, but shit, they may be putting like 10 times as much time into the project. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, absolutely. I mean, because some people like, and that actually, was to my downfall. And I think, when we think about investments that we make or communities that we get into, we see all the time that people get married to it, or, they fall, really hard into it. And we said a second ago that, time is your most precious commodity. And there are people that, will spend hours and hours and hours and hours a day, connecting with their community, sometimes maybe to a fault, sometimes because you're trying to make your connections in your network. And so I think it's, there are different, what do I want to say here? They're different, I guess, I don't even know how I want to say it. Next.
Yo, Ja, I think you had your hand up first, fam.
See, look, man, it's the same conversation that I had with Turbo when he called me the other day. But, like just working, just being on seeing from the community's perspective and then seeing it at a founder's perspective is two different complete things. And it's really harder than what a lot of people think it is. Like, especially like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of really jealous that Twitter Spaces became something after we minted, because like when our project came out and it was like 2021 October, it was just like a lot of people were on Instagram. A lot of people, like a lot. Damn near, I would say about 98% of first-time mentors, and they all seen it on Instagram. Just advertisements, it was really the 14-year-old makes like what, couple six figures in a week selling NFTs, and a lot of people came in. They didn't really have Twitters or anything. There's a post like a couple whiles back that I made about Kylie Jenner and like the GOAT and all this other crazy shit, trying to get her interested into it. and like everybody had to make a Twitter. So it was just like, damn. I feel like that really held our project back at one point. It was just because of the fact that, okay, we could sit in Discord all day, but nobody else is going to see that outside of that. You know what I mean? So I feel like this tool has really like built a foundation in Web3. You know, this is like a mothership. And from there, like it really allows it. But you're damn right. The community definitely needs to show their project off, you know, and some people, like, we're going through a whole thing that we got to rebuild and come back. But it's like certain people don't realize that. But I feel like there's a different community from now that's around, and there's a community from the beginning. And I feel like a lot of people in the beginning were just like, they want the founders to do everything. They want them to be super transparent. But then me working up to be a founder and be on the founding team, I see it from a whole different line. Like there's a whole lot of things. Like there's a lot of money that you got to pay developers, you got to pay the team, the artists. And then I feel like in a way, as a founder, you have to like kind of guide the community on what they want instead of just showing and listening to what they want, because at a certain point they're gonna want, you know what I mean? And this is just somebody to be actually relatable to everybody at one point, because what we went from people wanting a roadmap, didn't want a roadmap. They wanted doxed founders, didn't want doxed founders anymore once Goblin Town and them came out, because nobody cared about doxed founders. Then they wanted a free mint, then they wanted season 2, they wanted staking, they wanted a video game. It's like, what more do you want from me?
Well, now you got to have a song. You got to have utility. You need marketing. You need all that stuff.
It's so much that it's draining. Like it becomes honestly stressful, and a lot of people in the community do not see that, because I feel like in Web3, and this is like the main point of this, is that there's something to do with time. They don't have no knowledge of time in Web3. Everybody wants something fast. And I remember the first time I came up here 2 days ago, I said it like this. It was like, it does not take a year to build a game. It's longer, especially a good game, the games that people want. So there's the time, and people don't understand time because there's really no real good games in Web3 yet.
They're coming.
It's really incredible. They're coming, but it takes time. It takes money.
They definitely, and you know, and that was, you know, and that's such a big point, Ja. You know, it's like, because like all of us in, like, you know, I won't say all of us, but I feel like a lot of the founders that I know are people who have been scammed, bamboozled, taken advantage of by a project or a token or whatever, and they want to just provide so much, right? They want to be there, everything that they hated. And they build this expectation because, you know, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of our founders have never ran businesses. I mean, how many business plans do you see? A roadmap is not a business plan. You know what I'm saying? And so, and not all NFT projects are businesses. You know, we can't put this, you know, same expectation across the board. But, you know, it comes in conversation, right? So, Ja, man, I appreciate you greatly. You know, hey, I'm going to tell you, I bought a goat just strictly off our conversation, man, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I collect, you know, and I love these communities. I just wanted to let you know that as well. Kid, man, go ahead, family.
Yeah, man, I just want to say in regards to the whole community and leadership role, you know, like a community is supposed to provide audience attention to the project that they're vested in, right? Their role and their capacity is a form of a marketer to a certain extent, right? From what we've seen in typical PFP projects, you know, I feel like the evolution of that is occurring right now, to where, you know, you're starting to see people really harness the value of community players and put them in the forefront, right? And in a project like A Kid Called Bees, that's what really got me locked in, right? So when you talk about like what the responsibility and the role of the community is supposed to put support and marketing behind the project. At the end of the day, it's still going to be up to the founders to continue with the guidance of the project, in which is going to shift in how the use of the funds are, right? And what we wind up seeing is so much is communities doing the majority of the work for founders, and founders not reciprocating the community members. And so you have these burnout sessions of people that are participants of these projects, right? And then they're not being reciprocated reciprocated, the floor price isn't moving and people feel weird and teared out, right? Meanwhile, the founders are doing God knows what because they never knew what to do in the first place, but they like to act like they do. So you are starting to see, okay, there's a separation between, is this project a DJM project? Is this just a flip? Is this more or less a one-on-one? Or is this a project that's really looking to build for the long term?
Yeah, that is super fantastic. I love that perspective. That is, probably going to be something. Let's see, at 22 minutes in, I'll definitely want to clip that out and make sure we get that out as a short form piece of content, because I think that was a fantastic message. Lisa, go ahead.
GM guys, sorry, I'm like cooking, but I'm making chorizo, egg, and hash brown burritos.
Oh, why'd you have to say that? That sounds so good. I love chorizo so much.
So good.
Anyway, guys, yeah, no, like community is so big, and like I know I'm on a smaller coin with my business and my business partner, and we're expanding into Ethereum and like Polygon and stuff like that. But like the community I'm in, can be really toxic because it's so small, right? And so, sometimes they are hard on builders because, it's just they think they're gonna scam, or you know what I mean. And so I think that's just one of the hardest things is like, especially in this space, is you're always gonna have some community members that are gonna start drama or whatever. And it's just like you have to remember to, as a founder, you have to remember to, stop and think about what you're doing, but also stay positive and don't let people bring you down as a founder. And I think that's one of the hardest things that people need to realize, is because like this space is hard, and it's easy to get discouraged, especially if drama starts coming at you. And as a founder, you just have to learn to mute that, for sure.
Yeah, Lissa, I was thinking about this too. Just the whole idea that founders have to be 24/7 for their community. I mean, I think that right there is where some of the toxicity comes from. And you're literally up all the time and dealing with people all the time in different aspects and different walks of life. I mean, there's people, from all different walks of life on this app trying to get something different from Web3. And you're going to run into people who butt heads time to time. But being a founder and having to just even that out, just trying to bring that balance, that's difficult. I mean, it really takes a good social engineer in a sense. You've got to be somebody who can, see all sides, see all angles. So yeah, these founders, they're expected to do way too much. But some of them pull it off. Some of them pull it off and they show up for the community every day. And I think that's really impressive. Let's throw it, I think, to Carmen. Were you next? I hope we're not getting it wrong. Carmen.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Good
Carmen.
morning. Good
GM, Carmen.
No, it was Big Square. GM. Oh my gosh, like I'm speaking this early in the morning. I miss you guys. Miss you too, Ken. Miss you too, Turbo. I'm going to have a confession session. It was Big Squirt that had his hand up before me. And I knew that because I like Big Squirt's name. Because if you take a look at my marijuana nickname, it's Heavy Feather. So I feel like we're same. So I'm going to let him go first.
Well, that sounds like to be honest with you, that would be a great show name. Big Squirt. And was it Tiny Feather?
Heavy Feather.
Well, sorry, someone else talked over you. What'd you say?
It was Heavy Feather.
Oh, Heavy Feather and Big Squirt. Yeah. Or that's.
Oh man, jeez.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. I just had to make sure I heard that correctly.
No, you're good. Yeah, and I think we kind of covered both sides of it. Like some people have experienced founders that don't do enough, and some people have had it where their founders did do enough, and they probably did too much and they got burnt out. For me, my experience, we had a founder who was very active, but then, like I said, we had those whales that were expecting way too much of the founder because, let's say, someone bought like 20, 30 NFTs. Well, he said from the beginning, hey, everyone's going to be treated the same. As long as you have one NFT, you're going to be treated just the same as someone who has 30. So, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they buy into a project, they take their money into it way too often. And instead of buying into the communities that are just meant to be community spaces for people to make connections, like for me, I made probably like 10 to 15 connections that I still talk to on like a daily basis from that community. Well, let's say like the others, the whales that just bought into it and didn't really do anything. I mean, they probably got no connections and they don't feel they got their money worth out of it. Well, I feel that I got like tenfold my money worth out of it. And to be honest, I got my way into by a giveaway. Like I didn't even have to buy into the project. And I probably did 30 times more than any of the whales in that project. And I was like a giveaway winner. So it goes to show you, it's just like not what the community can do for you, but like how you looked at it. Because I looked at it, how can I help this community grow? And how can I make more community members come into it? And I actually started getting into Twitter Spaces because of that NFT community. And like I started growing, I guess, my following a little bit from that.
I love that, man. That is literally how I got my start in this entire ecosystem. It was back in 2017. I had gotten involved with a project. I was a community member, and I started doing the fan art things. Right, you just get involved. Back then, there was no Twitter Space. There was no nothing. We were all in Telegram, and so it was doing memes, doing fan art. And then it turned into, all right, we're gonna start doing video contests, and I started crushing those. And then they asked me to host the YouTube channel for the project. And then from there, obviously things have spiraled into something. I was on a phone call with Turbo this morning. We were chit chatting about a bunch of things. And the fact that I get to do this, right? Like, I've done a YouTube thing for a very long time. And if you guys listen to the show, that's not my thing anymore. Like, I don't want to sit up on a pedestal and preach to people. I want to be in the community. These sessions are far more beneficial, I think, to all of us, right? And so, with that being said, I went to school for broadcast communication. So I was on the radio in college. And for me to be able to do this, my career has gone from creating fan art to now hosting shows. Literally, I am living a dream come true. This is what I've always wanted to do. I am with my people. I get to have these conversations. We get to think, build, grow together. And it's a community session where, again, as a YouTuber, most of the time you're on your pedestal, you're at your platform, and you're speaking to the people. That's not me, man. That's not where I get out of this. So the ability to join a community, participate, and then have something spiral out of there that might change your life. And I know that's not where this conversation was going, but as a community member, that is your responsibility to help your projects, because you're protecting your investment. You're also helping the people that you're growing with, that you're networking with, and that you never know what's going to happen from it. I mean, just remember that the opportunities are here.
Oh, Jay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I cut you off there.
No, it was
out because I was, that was okay. Yeah, that was like the whole thing. When I came into this space, right, I learned from YouTube. Like I was like, I want to create a project. I want to create this kill to earn game. I wrote up the entire script, all of it, right. And I was like, I'm gonna raise $1 million, and it's gonna be so easy. And I came into Twitter to begin to build my community. I was like, this will never work. Like, this isn't right. I said, when I came into this space, I said, I'm going to spend this time being the community member that I would hope that would support my project. Right. And just in doing that, and like going in and doing like, hey, I can, even me and you, Jay, right. I'm like, hey, I can join you to the parties. And while we get there, I'd like to kind of tell you some of my business ideas. There was no expectations. It was just coming and just being active and wanting to make a difference, and then people noticing you. If you are in a community and you're doing this stuff, and Squirt, I kind of like, as you're talking, I hear like there's this situation happened to you. It sounds unfortunate, and it's like, if you're in that situation and the community isn't, and they're not responding to you, and you're pouring in, then leave. That's not your community. You got to go where you're appreciated and you're valued. And that's not to say like if you go in doing anything with expectations, you know what I'm saying, then you're wrong for that. But if there comes a point where you're pouring in more than they're pouring back to you, then it's just time to leave. And that goes way further than just, these projects. It goes in relationships too. But Carmen, thank you so much for being such a G. And I haven't got to say this in a couple of weeks, Carmen, and it's been killing me. But I love you.
Yo, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes. Really, really quick. We could not, for whatever reason, get Ardo up. So Final Frontier, if you guys are watching on the live stream, me and my dude right there. Also, just so you know, Seven and Turbo, I did put it in the Player 2 Studios Discord. So if you guys feel like popping on camera, let me know. And if anybody else wants to come on camera today, just hit me up.
We coming, Carmen. Meta Power, Women's Empowerment, baby. We coming.
Oh, is that the next one?
And that's not the next one. This is the last one.
Okay.
The next one is dropping in probably about 48 hours.
Oh, shit.
And you guys will get a copy of the previous front magazine and the next front magazine.
Let's go. Dude, that's a dope studio setup you got. Sorry, Carmen.
Yo, Chain, check your DM.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Carmen.
Oh, look, I am going to go back to the streets of BSC where I was born, and I was founder of 2 Tokens. Now, best practices. Number 1, I come from a corporate background, so I
got it. We're good. That was my fault.
I cherry pick the things that I love about, engaging others and creating that community. And let me tell you, number 1, I was that extra founder. I was that person that showed up. My team understood the assignment that we were going to show up every day because we were running these tokens during all-time highs, and we had to show up. We had to stay engaged. So here's some of my best practices of things that I did. Number 1, I had a value system. I had 4 simple values that even down to my mods and admins, they understood, listen, when we are in conflict, when we are meeting a new person, when we are engaging a brand new or a tenured community member, these things should be top of our mind when we are communicating with them. Are we changing minds? Are we changing standards? Are we changing expectations? Or are we talking about changing the results? And we dove into those value systems on a weekly basis and really gave a lot of feedback. Now, in the first 90 days of my token launch, there were 2 times in a day where you would come in for a 1-hour session with the founders, and we showed up every day as a team. There was one during UTC time, and there was one in the evening time for America. And we showed up for the first 30 minutes. We were doing the same presentation like a Tupperware party about who we were, what our mission was, what the tokenomics were, and where you could plug yourself into the other community events that we had. And then the second half was talking to the community, where you just had sessions. Now, after 90 days, that flipped into community events Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wednesday was Twitter, Friday was poker night, Monday was really, catch up with the team. And we had, a clear resource section on the website that told you what kind of events we had and explain what happened at those events. So if you went away for a week and enjoyed your best life, you had family time, you could come back and you can know where we were at. And we got the community involved with our utility. So they were a part of the process. If they chose to engage, they were highlighted. And that's where we pulled our admin and mod team. Now, if you had a bad attitude, which we know happens in communities, or you're coming in for FUD, or you're coming in for stupid shit, I had a FUD room set up. Why? Because it pained me to watch my community members and people who loved their project and loved, their investment and really wanted to see it grow, try to be so kind to people that were being dicks. So we would mute them in the main chat and send them to the FUD room and be like, fight us there. And it was a no holds bar. Nobody's going to get banned and everything is allowed. And you would see the true nature of people. But we created these systems in which people knew where to get the information. They knew where the leaders were. And when one of the tokens went sideways, this was a community of 36,000. When the token went sideways, nobody ever questioned whether or not my integrity was on the line, because I showed up every day. I was extra, and I was there to support them even through the hardest of the times. And that's where I tell people, look at your founders. At least when there's a crisis, take a look at how they handle that. That's how you know who you're really working with.
That's a great point. Absolutely great point there, Carmen. I love that. Go ahead, Turbo.
No, Carmen is she's like, that's the thing, it's like, these are the kind of leaders that we need in the space. You know what I'm saying? And Carmen, that's why I love being around you. You know what I'm saying? Standing up when it's tough. It's really easy to do the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you, man, doing the right thing can be extremely, extremely tough. Yo, a kid called Love. What's up, baby? You had your hand up.
You know what they say? Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? And what it is I look at a lot of people and a lot of things, and I could tell just off of the way that you're setting up and you're engaging your project. if you're actually thinking about this from a professional standpoint, right? And I feel like a lot of that is being able to see the picture, being able to identify with the metrics. Are you chasing? Are you, you looking at the analytics behind the project? Like, what kind of impressions are you getting? We got all these tools at our disposal, so it makes it, in my mind right now, it should be even harder for people who are coming in with half-ass attempts, right? Because it's so easy for you to just plug in a few ideas and get a whole map put out for you. You know what I'm saying? So now it comes to the point of, okay, how are we really taking time to really think out thoroughly and map out what it is that we want for our community? What is the end goal? The community, if the founder can't tell you where they want to be a year from now, they say, well, that's too far out to really envision. No, it's not too far out to really envision. Even if the goals are maybe even beyond reproach or beyond reach, you should have some sort of end goal vision in sight, where you want to be 6 months from now, where you want to be a year from now. I know when I go to the gym, I'm looking at my body, I'm like, okay, my leg areas I want more defined, my calf areas I want more defined. So I'm gonna focus more on my exercise and my intense training when it comes to my legs. It's gonna be focused on my legs. I don't want my body to be disproportionate. So I'm mapping my body out on how I want it to look 6 months from now. It's the same thing with these fucking projects. It's the same things with these ideas and concepts. If you want to call yourself a founder, you need to start acting and behaving as such. I appreciate the degeneracy of the fucking community and the culture, right? What I do not appreciate is the misuse of the community and the culture, right? Like, I want it to be used and fostered for the right reasons.
Well, love, my man, the community member of all community members, the community builder of all community builders himself. The thing is, though, is that the conversation is really about, as a community member, as community members, everyone in here, right? Whether we're founders in other projects right now, in this moment, we're all community members of Web3. It's like, what expectations do we have on ourselves as community members, right? Like, where can we, like, we keep going back to the founder. And yes, there's so much that lays on the founder, right? But if as a community as Web3, and we say, hey, these are things that we're willing to do, or these are the things that, that across the board, we all agree that are general things that we should do for projects that we collect and invest in, right? So in your plan, we can add those things in, right? But the kind of the real kind of sentiment is like, what should we be expected as community members to do?
As the head, so the body, right? So, as above, so below. And like these sayings ain't just sayings for no reason. So when we talk about community roles, the role is going to be based on what the direction of the founder. So if the body's moving in a certain direction, the community can only move in the direction of which the founder is supposed to move it, right? Like we only know how to respond based on what the founder is saying. We're just basically, cogs in the machine that keeps everything oiled. But it's the automation of it, the mindset of it, that really gives the direction and channels the energy. And that's what communities are for.
100%, man. I couldn't agree with you more. I want to go to let's go to Showbiz Eddie next. But really quick, AI Love, you got quote of the day, dropping some bombs today. This tweet's getting ready to go out, and it is proper preparation prevents piss poor performance. I love that. That is obviously a great kind of thing to put into play in your own life. So congratulations, sure. If we did have golden waffles, which wink, wink, they're coming soon. Today's your day, bud.
Well, thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for dropping some facts on us. Showbiz.
That's always, I was raised around players and hustlers and stuff. They always had some nice, funny saying, man. Even my great granddad used to come up with so many. Oh, he's an old Southern man. So many Southern sayings. I'd be like, man, where did you come up with this from? Like, really?
I got a lot to learn because like yesterday, Turbo was people be out there bow-jiving. I didn't know what that was. Apparently a lot of people know what bow-jiving is. I didn't. I do now, and so we're good. All right, go. All right, Showbiz, you're up.
Hey, what's up, J Chains? Turbo, my brother, what's going on? I've been listening to the conversation, man. I gotta say I love the Web3 Breakfast Hour. I look forward to listening to this show. Especially because my boy Turbo's there, but with founders' responsibilities, right, and community members, You know, I'm gonna take it back to what I know. You know, being in the military for over 20 years, right? Being a leader, you know, what I've seen in this space since I joined in August of 2021, a lot of founders cater to their whales, right? There you find a few that cater to that smallest, that person who's maybe holding one NFT, right? And to me, if you cater to just that one NFT, the person, like what can we build for that one person? It's kind of like in the military, right? We cater to that brand new soldier, airman, you know, sailor, marine, you know, and if we can take care of that person who's brand new and build that community and you know, have a strategic plan built out 5-10 years, you know, that's what we do in the military. We build out plans. We have, you know, 30, 60, 90, 120, you know, we build out for the future because, you know, we have to plan for every single contingency, and we have to have plan A, you know, B, C, D, you know, all these things put in place. But like Turbo said, if you're building a Web3 business and you don't have a business plan, how can you succeed? Because, you know, any business, if you need a loan, you know, you got to come up with a business plan, or is that banking going to give you any money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, not everyone should be a founder in this space. I thought about it. Unless I build a team of people that I see that have the potential to make a project succeed, I would never build a Web3 brand in this space. I support a lot of projects, but I could never build one because you know, people. It's all about the money in this space. What I've seen, you know, these whales, they just want that quick flip.
Mm-hmm. You're so true. I mean, there are I look, but you know, to the opposite side of that, there are people that, you know, and we'll go to Carmen next. There are some people, and let's take me for example. Like, you know, the Web3 is I take it as a big responsibility. I haven't started a project yet for a very specific reason. We're not ready for it. Like, we're not ready for that to be like the end all be all, because in my opinion, when you become a project founder, when I launch a project, that's it. That's where I rest my head. That's where I spend my time. And if I'm not ready for that, if I got bigger things ahead of me, if we've got bigger fish to fry, ain't no way I can put myself into that position where I can't be as versatile or as open or as available to the industry or the ecosystem as a whole. Like, I'm not ready for that. And I feel like, you know, we see projects come in where guys are like, hey, yeah, you know, I'm ready to drop my project. I'm ready to, you know, do my shit. It's like, all right, cool. Well, like, how big's your community? It's like, well, no, like, I don't have that. It's like, what? No, man, that ain't going to work for you. Like, you have to build your community. You have to be ready. Like, that should be the first step, is like, all right, I got my idea. Now you start to build your community so that people can go along with this journey, you know, and understand that you have true intentions, that it isn't just a money grab. We see this shit every day where people are popping in a project and it's like, what's the point of this? Why are you coming at this right now? I think Ardo's chopping at the bit right now to say something.
Yeah. Thank you for your service to the vet that's also in the room. One of the things that military life prepares everyone for regular life is something called an operations order. And I think it's key that everyone that's trying to get a project think of that similar format. It's 5 paragraphs of it: situation, mission, execution, sustainment, and command and control. What is the situation? What's going on in the space? What's going on in the world? What's going on in the niche that you're trying to create a project in? Right? What's the mission at hand? What are you trying to do? Is there a problem you're trying to solve? Is there a community you're trying to build? Is there a community you're trying to reach? Is there an audience you're trying to reach? Then the sustainment, right? Or your execution. That's how you're going to have your plan, right? We could call that the roadmap. Sustainment is how you're going to keep your project going, but also how you're going to move it forward, right? What are you going to do to feed it? Is it people? Is it resources? Is it time that has to feed it? And then there's your command and control. How are you going to manage it, right? Do you have a PACE plan? Primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency plan for every situation that involves what you're building. And then you can create your project. I think that is a good start for everyone, outside of what we normally hear. Oh, do you have a roadmap? Well, cool. You can build a roadmap. It doesn't mean that it's going to get followed, right? You can build a website. Is anyone utilizing it? Does it have a purpose? It's just like you can build a game, but are people playing it? And also understanding that what you're building is your tool and you are the weapon. It's just like I used an analogy a few episodes ago where I showed the guys, hey, this is all what makes the ammo. Okay. This is what makes the round. You have your powder, you have your shell, you have your bullets, and then you have your you have your primers. All of those assemble to make the round. But the rifle is just the tool. It does nothing with that round until you, the weapon, point and use it.
Right. We are the weapon, and you know, and that's not, you know, to bring in the whole, like, you know, gun debate and everything. You know, that is nothing besides the point, because it is more of an alliterative point for pretty much anything, right? Like, we are the weapons. Like the Web3 ecosystem, the community is the tool. As the founder, you are the weapon, right? I mean, there are different ways to look at it, and as the community member, you know, I think you could probably see it the other way around, right? Depending on how you pull that into your perspective. So let's get to some more questions. I want to make sure that we don't you know, keep these hands hanging too long, because, you know, arms get tired.
Jay, you know, we are like 10 minutes out right now. You know what I'm saying? We're about to get Beastie up in here. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great time to retweet out the space. Let's get some people up in here. You know what I'm saying? Because now, you know what I'm saying, this could be the next biggest community. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've seen, you know, a lot of, I mean, Jay, you're a holder, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, being able to take this conversation we're having, take it right to a founder to really have some good talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm super excited about that, guys. Retweet out the space. And I think, I believe it was Jaw was next. And then Squirt, Broken, and Carmen. Come back around to Carmen.
One of the things I wanted to touch on is, so I was talking about how projects dropping roadmaps, and, you know, that's a wonderful sight. The roadmap looked good, but it never comes to fruition. And I feel like, you know, I had this conversation. I was on a big stage the one day with Luca Nets. It's the owner of Pudgy Penguins, and he broke it down, and he was saying, we were talking about it, and it was like a lot of projects that all came out. What have they really done? You know, and I feel like that's a big conversation that needs to be had in Web3, is because we have so much expectations, and, you know, there's so many. Everybody likes the fancy things. Everybody likes the shiny things. But a lot of projects is just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I feel like monetary value is not really part of a roadmap. It's not something that, okay, a project's doing that. It's cool. It's fun. We all want money. That's one of the main reasons why we're here. But that's not really doing anything, you know? So I feel like there's only a few projects that actually out here doing something. And, you know, Pudgy Penguin was number one. You know, I'm not sitting here raving about them, but it was just like they're actually dropping storybooks and for kids and building plushies out. You know, Bored Ape's just Bored Ape. They got grandfathered in. You can't take it away from them. You know, and it's just they got monetary value, but a lot of other projects is just like, yeah, you say you're gonna do this, you say you're gonna do that, but there's no game, there's no merch, there's nothing. And if you give me merch, it's just a regular T-shirt printed on it. So it's just like, what's going on?
What's going on? You know, one of the things that you said there, Ja, and this could be probably a conversation for a whole nother day, because I feel like there's a lot that needs to go into it. But, you know, something you had said, you know, like Pudgy Penguins doing stuff for kids. You know, I had made a comment yesterday because the article that came out from VV saying that, you know, they're doing that Oscar the Grouch or the Cookie Monster NFT collection. And I said, you know what, here's the deal. I think VV missed the mark on this. I think you're doing a 5,555 collection or whatever it is, that's $60. who are you doing that? It's the fucking Cookie Monster. Like, you should have done a 50K collection at $5 and market that towards kids, right? And I get that the platform is 18 plus. I get that, guys. And I got raked over the fucking coals yesterday in this comment section. I had a very good discourse with one of the founders of VV, right? And somebody even commented like, "Wow, like an adult conversation happened." I did, but then all these like community members are like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, talking shit about our community and all this stuff." It's like, first off, I'm not talking shit about your community. Why don't you open your mind? Like, we have to start thinking bigger. There are kids using NFTs, and people are just like, kids don't use NFTs. I'm like, look at a play to fucking earn game all over the world. There are kids playing these games for 12 hours a day so that their parents can eat, so that their parents can make money, right? So it is happening. And kids are using NFTs. Projects, founders, all these platforms. Like, I get that you have to do your 18 plus to KYC, but you know what? Kids want to get involved. Kids on the playground want to share their NFTs with their buddies. They want to do this stuff. Put yourself as a kid when you had your baseball cards when you were 10 years old. Does that mean that you can't have an NFT because it's digital? No, we got to start thinking bigger. Sorry, I got fired up, and I know that's not the conversation today.
Man. You did what a leader is supposed to do. That's all you did. And the people that
I felt like we were at the beginning of Braveheart's battle.
Yeah, the people that don't understand, it's not your fault that they don't understand. So never take ownership of someone else's bullshit. Right?
And look, I just want to tell you right now, I want VV to pull up. You know what I'm saying? I want to know who was talking shit about J-Chains. We're going Web3
Look, it happens all the time. I can't tell you how many space events I've been to and people get rude or they become keyboard warriors and things like that. Well, look, let's find a common ground. Let's move the conversation forward. If you can't do that and you want to continue threatening me for whatever reason, my hands are ready to eat for everyone.
That's so true. It was frustrating.
Spraying and praying.
Spraying and praying. So and at the end of the day, right? Like, the conversation that I had with one of the team members there at VV. Again, it was a great discourse. We had a great conversation. The community members decided to take it out of control, which we get that. I understand that, but as the responsibility. Remember, the responsibility of a community member is to put a good image into everyone's eyes. If that's your community, if that's your platform, if that's what you use, then be respectful to everybody. Because I'll tell you what, after getting raked over the coals by several community members at VV, I've never used VV, and at this particular moment, I have no plans to ever even go on the platform because of it. I don't need that shit. I don't need those people like to yell at me because maybe I had a question, or maybe I'm thinking, we gotta expand what we're doing here. Like, yeah, we can make these NFT projects, and it's great for the degens, and we can flip. And some guy said, yeah, it's going to be a bunch of 29-year-old men, buying these things. It's like, well, guys, get out of your mom's basement. Stop looking at the Cookie Monster NFTs and let's save these things for the kids. Let's bring more people into this ecosystem, because that's the only way it gets bigger. Or I guess we can just stick in this echo chamber and it'll just be a bunch of 28 to 45-year-old men trading NFTs. That does not sound like an ecosystem that I want to live in. Carmen, you're next.
Ooh, okay. So I gave you the secret sauce on what I did as a founder, but let me tell you what I taught my community in order to be a good community. And I say this on stage because it was my responsibility as a leader when we were meeting so many people with no tenure in the space, brand spanking new, barely understood how to add a custom token. It was about helping them understand the fundamentals of decentralized finance and owning their assets. And so I used to teach them 4 things, and I teach this on stage now. You want to keep your money as mine, M-I-N-E, find a mentor. Maybe it's a community, maybe it's multiple communities, maybe it's one person, but make sure that they're not just telling you how to operate your wallet, not telling you over your shoulder what buttons to press, but really teaching you the fundamentals of how to own your own assets and how to navigate through doing your own research. Next, it was inspecting what you expect. Don't just buy the token, say hello, ask about the tokenomics, and then disappear, or buy the NFT and then just disappear and hold. Be an active part of the community. Come back and make sure that your founders are held accountable, that the team is still moving forward. Then network. Like, network and engage with other people, whether it's in your community, other communities, get into a Twitter space, meet as many new people, because then you will have a baseline of all the good, the bad, the ugly, and the degenerate that exist here, and you will find out who you are. Then lastly, engage. Like that tweet, retweet it, get into a VC, show some emojis, follow other people, engage, engage, engage. There are so many free behaviors that help build the momentum and success of projects and tokens and overall impact positively this entire space. So with just those 4 highlights to my community, I was trying to teach them how to be good community members.
Yeah,
There we
Carmen.
go.
Let's
Mic
clip that
drop.
moment. 55 minutes. We're clipping that one.
Yeah, that was
Jay, if you don't mind. Oh, sorry. Am I talking over somebody? I want to make sure I'm not.
No, go for it, Ken. And then we'll go. And then we'll go to Awesome is next.
Yeah, Carmen, I've been waiting because I really wanted to even comment on what you first said. I think that everything you're mentioning about how a proper founder, they're a business owner. Like everything you said before in your first take about how, you showed up for the community, you guys had a plan, it wasn't just a roadmap. I think that just screams the overall idea that these are little businesses. These projects are a lot less, let's get home and handcraft something together. No, these are businesses. There is money on the line. There are values are being placed on these businesses or quote unquote projects. And I think that's something to comment on too, is that the beautiful thing about Web3, NFTs, crypto, is that it takes down that barrier where not everybody can be a business owner in the IRL world. And again, just using layman terms here, but it's true. Not everybody in this world has access to a bank account. In fact, there are literally billions and billions of people who don't, which is just so sad and terrible when you think about it, coming from a country where that's, the norm. But that's not the case for everybody. And I think that that's something too, where, we get all of these founders, all of these different business owners from all over, and we just have to hold them accountable to some extent to make sure that they are putting in what it takes. I love that there's this open barrier, this open door for people to come through and be a project founder, even if they weren't able to in, maybe a Web2 business. I think that opportunity is awesome. So here it's like, we need these communities to hold them responsible. We need the communities to get involved and help founders and help the mods and help the admins. Like there's so much room there for collaboration, and NFTs and Web3, that alignment, that incentives, all of that is aligned. Yeah, I just really wanted to say that being a business owner, stepping up and doing that is something that I love to see project founders do. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that as this space actually matures. Because guys, it's not just that we're early, we are young. We are just so young in the long run of what this is going to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kenton dropping truth bombs as well. Man, this has been a solid show so far. I'm super excited. Let's get through a few more questions, and then and then we'll play a song, because I think that's it's time to.
We got to get that workout.
I feel like it's time to dance. I got my 25s right here at my feet. I'll probably, what I'm gonna do?
Hey, Jay, check it out. They added us to the intro song for NFTLA.
Final Frontier.
That's right,
dude. That's awesome. We're gonna need to get a copy of that. Go ahead, Turbo.
Jay, you are fired up. You know what I mean? We're definitely gonna need this workout reset. You know what I'm saying? Get some of that. Gonna get some of that extra test off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I know you trying to get that beard right. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to look. I need you to pump them things hard. During this workout. I got my kettlebell over here. I'm gonna definitely jump in with you. And we're gonna get it right. So look, everybody get your equipment ready. We're about to do a fitness, music. Look, you know what I mean? Look, even no matter what you can do, get up out of your seat, reach for the sky, touch your freaking toes. I mean, we're gonna be rich and just be crippled. So get your mind right. We're gonna get ready. All right, go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry. I gotta get my stuff.
Everybody do 21 push-ups or 22 push-ups for the 22 vets on average per day that commit suicide. Everybody do 22.
Here we go. And if you hadn't already, make sure you hit that retweet on the room. Let's go ahead. We got Big Raph about to step in the building. He's going to be delivering some key points.
All right, here we go. Let's get those workouts.
Knock out my push-ups,
ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, and then we'll get back to some more hands. Awesome, you're going to be next after this because
I'm doing jumping jacks.
Here we go.
Fire. More. This is a Beat Street music artist in the metaverse. A kid called Beats ain't regular. We going hard, we ain't letting up. Yeah, they tried to set us up. Hackers get back on your grind. Now we back with a midday. And we know the reveal too. All the ones that faded. Nowadays we fade you. You taking them L's and you know it. All of the hating just show it. Bottle it up on the inside. Now fuck up all your enzymes. Now I just rap on my own time. Nowhere pause need a long time. Shout out to Moo Moo Metals. They put the pedals to metals. You know I'm rocking with Beat Street. Clouded gardens on each beat. Bull hat in the district. Wag me way out here getting it. Trust me like I'm the way. Yeah, stay out the way. Yeah, they making plays. Champion core fade away. AKCB. AKCB. AKCB.
I love it. I love it.
This is a Beat Street remix.
AKCB, it ain't regular. Lay up the floor, it's irregular. Look at the floor, it's regular. Beat Street popping and dropping, I'm telling you.
I love it.
Up in the clouds, the garden, the E. Big things coming, you heard it from me. Meant it one, swap one off the floor. When I knock at the door, I'm coming for three. I'm in the lab, I'm elite. I catch a vibe when I hop on the beat. We all beast mode. Every single time we come with the heat. Step in the fort, yeah, I'm a flex. Champ on the court, feel like the best. I'm from the east side, we say B-side. Shout out the fam that come from the west. Machiavelli, that be my dog. East that fam, they going hard. Lucy friend, dropping the bars. West Coast Brandon, yeah, you a star. Shout out the mummy, y'all gonna be getting the money. Beat Street fam look sunny. Project is sweet, calling it honey. You ain't get one, yeah, you a dummy.
AKCB. 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 More fire, more. This is a Beat Street remix.
Yo, I am out of breath. How about you guys?
Hey, look, we pull up on us at NFTLA. We're gonna be having all sorts of goodies that we're gonna be giving away: magazines, Dragon Ball Z cards. This is a foil, rare foil. We got video games, all sorts of stuff, apparel. Pull up on us. Have a great time. We're going to be there to show up and show out and represent. I can't wait to get to the mansion. I'm excited.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome. Speaking of awesome, you got your hand up still. Man, I'm still out of breath. Jeez Louise.
Yo, that was a great workout. I'm not gonna lie. Fucking pump me up, bro. I don't know.
Jay's like, I can't talk. I'm gonna mute real quick.
Dude, if you were watching the YouTube, man, I had those 25s. I was like,
oh, you were killing it.
Dude,
you were killing it.
I was just going.
We're gonna be hunks. Dude, we're gonna be hunks. Golly. Yo, be a Web3 hunk or hunkette.
Yeah, hunks and hunks hats. Here we go.
Hunk 3. It's
awesome.
Hunk 3.
Awesome. What's up, my dude?
Yo, it's your boy Awesome as Hell, aka the biggest music artist in the metaverse. Yo, y'all had me out of breath too, man. Y'all had me out of breath too. Yo, shout out J Chain, shout out Turbo, shout out Kenton. Thanks so much for inviting me to this space. It's an amazing space per usual. I actually wanted to touch on something that you guys are talking about with the community founder responsibility in Web3. I think Carmen hit a lot of, nails there when she was talking. I kind of agree. I think the sentiment as far as community and founder responsibility, I feel like it's equal on both sides, right? I feel like there's a huge component education-wise as well that we need to push the narrative for as well. Because, unfortunately and fortunately, right, it's about sovereignty in Web3, right? So while there are a bunch of rug pulls and irresponsible founders, like, I mean, it's going to be damn near impossible to eradicate every last one of them, right? So we need to make sure we're doing our part on our end as far as fostering, the education component of that, so that when people come in, they're aware of these different things that happen, with projects and founders within the community. And I also agree, you shouldn't be starting a project unless you cultivate some type of community and you provide some kind of value to that community. Whether it, like I said, it could be something educational. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to make you money or this, that, or the third. You could just, provide education, right? And then build a community and then launch a project. But yeah, you should make some kind of contribution to a community before you even launch anything.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
You got to put the horse before the cart, right?
That'd be crazy if the horse was behind the cart. You know what I mean? Just like that'd be a dumb use of the horse. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of a dumb saying because like literally if you seen a horse pushing a cart, you'd be like, that ain't right.
That's one of my closing lines, and it works all the time. I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, because everybody's just like, oh hell yeah, we're all because it's called conditioning and priming.
Hey Turbo, did you get that video?
I had a question for you. Awesome, I had this question for you, bro, because I was talking to Jay about this, and I'm like, man, I think we use community wrong. I think we're building tribes. I don't think we're building communities. What do you think, Awesome?
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Yeah, we are building tribes, man. It's a whole lot deeper than the word community, man. We talking about, when you talk about the phenomenon of talking to somebody online in Web3 and then meeting them IRL, and when you form that bond, that's deeper than community, right? You know what I mean? Some of these people, you feel like you've known all of your life when you shake their hand and you have a conversation finally, right? Yeah, so I would agree. Yeah, we are building tribes.
Because
no, it's all good.
I'm sorry, Jay.
I was gonna say originally when we first had that conversation, I thought that it had more of, and I wouldn't say like a negative connotation to it, but I thought like what we're building and fostering community was a little bit better. But after our conversation, man, like just kind of going off of basically the definition alone, it makes more sense that we are building tribes.
Yeah, because that was kind of the thing, my degree's in psychology. I love just people and what makes us tick. I've never met a stranger in my entire life. Like that is my passion. I do a lot of reading, just and all that. But so when I look at all this, does the whole tribe thing, is it the negative? Is this negativity from just years and years of systemic discourse to the native, the indigenous people of the United States? And that we automatically associate this bad thing because that's been ingrained in us for so long, because we had to completely collapse an entire tribe, community, ecosystem, right? And so we're afraid to use this word. I just kind of wonder, because there was all these tribes and they all worked together. And they had no currency. They used the things that they had. They worked together in their community. They worked together. Then that's just kind of what I was thinking,
Yo, I actually agree, Turbo. You're right. Because nowadays I do hear people using the word tribe, but they would say tribal. This is becoming tribal, but they would use it with a negative connotation. And I think that does stem back to the washing of their whole ecosystem and the implementation of the modern ecosystem, if you will. So yeah, I think you're exactly right. That makes sense.
Well, and listen, guys, this isn't, the things that we have in this community, Web3 Breakfast being as beautiful it is, I'm saying? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about just having an open mind to be able to share with one another, to be able to have these conversations, because this is how we're going to put an end to a lot of these things. We appreciate all y'all being here. Let's reset up the space. Yo, we're waiting on some big dogs to come in. We got some hands. J Chain's Final Frontier on the YouTube. You guys can go over there, swing. If nothing else, just swing over there, hit the like button, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Because we get enough views, it helps monetize, helps everybody, help us, help you, because that's what it's about, right, guys? We talk all the time about the whole customers and community and that stuff, and what we're doing here at Web3 Breakfast is we're breaking down so much. So, Jay.
Hey, I like that, as someone, coming over to hit the like button, we like to say, and especially it makes more sense after our little workout, you got to Hulk smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? So I wish there was a like button here on Twitter Space, but I guess because there's not, the best thing you can do is, like we said earlier, go down to that bottom right corner, hit that purple pill, get some more folks in here, and hopefully our special guest will be showing up in just a little bit here. I'm gonna hit into the DMs, so give me a second.
They need to make some squishmallow emojis that we can have when we're live, so we can just hold them up.
Just do the 100.
Yeah.
But I like that concept though, Turbo, because everyone inside of a tribe has a responsibility and a role, right? And they treat that role seriously. And then the leaders of the tribe are used for their guidance, their wisdom, but also they understand that they have a responsibility of maintaining the welfare of their entire tribe. And so as our tribes come together, we form that community that then is able to work together by utilizing the relationships over the dollar. Because remember, at one point, the dollar was nothing to a tribe. It was all about time, knowledge, and relationships.
Well, and I want to take that one thing just one little step further and then pass it down to these hands. Every person is respected at every level. The janitor is respected as much as the person who's in charge. That is just the person who is in charge of that thing or whatever it is, and everyone is loved and appreciated the same. And that's where it begins and developing great tribes. John, go ahead, man.
I just gotta say, man, the most important thing that we learn and in life that can be incorporated into this space is being a founder. And what I've learned is KISS, man. Keep it simple, stupid. And I feel in this space, there's too many people who want to be founders that make it overcomplicate the whole entire process. Like it's not that hard. This is not rocket science. Making this stuff up, it's really not. You had an idea, break it down, make it as simple as you want at first, and then start adding little bits and pieces. Like there be certain roadmaps. I don't know if you guys seen them. I mean, we probably all seen them. Like, you really think they're gonna buy an entire NFL stadium as a project, or like it just be outlandish, and just keep it simple. You keep everything simple. You explain things to people. They'll understand it. They'll get it. You don't have to be extraordinary or try to stand out. And I feel like that's one of the number one problems after money. The number one problem in the community is just not keeping it simple. And it's just mind blowing. Is sometimes that I look at things and just be like, you're doing too much. Just relax. The people are here. They're, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, and they just try to add on too much, and just your community's here. Your community will always be here for you. No matter what, you're gonna know who's strong in the community. You're gonna drive those out. There's people that here that just want to flip. That's okay. That's fine. You know, and I feel like a lot of people just get hurt. There's so many people that's just going on. You're on a big stage. You're playing with people's money at this point, and you know it just changes people's whole perspective. You know, some people get death threats from people that can. It's gonna happen, and no matter what you got going on, if you're a founder, you plan on building a project, take your time out. Don't try to rush into things. No matter what, not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna like your idea. It's just simple things in life that just apply to the Web3 space.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with like the FUD and all that stuff, like, you know, if you're a community member and things aren't going your way or you don't like it, man, just go. You know, if you're the project founder and you got to learn how to deal with, you know, maybe some FUDders in the community, learn how to I don't know if it's maybe like learn negotiation skills or like, you know, like the tactics that SWAT guys use when they're like dealing with crazy people. And I'm not saying all FUDders are crazy people, but you know what I mean? Like, you got to learn how to come down to that level. And there are some people you can't reason with. I get that, but you got to diffuse that situation. Or as you know, as a community member, if you don't like it, just fucking leave. Like, you sell your NFT and leave.
That's 100%, man. And the one thing that I realized is just very weird in this space, and this is very, very weird in this space, is people FUD their own project. I've never understood that, how you FUD your own bag. It makes no sense. Just say you own 20 rabbits. Oh, these rabbits suck. I don't like these rap, bro. You're making tweets about it, going on rants. Now the price is dropping and you're upset about it. Whose fault is that? And I've never seen somebody ever say that in my life.
Yeah, but job, man, you got to remember, man. You got to remember, like we had talked about it. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I mean, some people are in these banks, you know what I'm saying? And banks are they're failing and they're halting transactions. We got balloons in the airs. We've had like 6 train accidents. People are losing money. Food prices are going up. You know what I'm saying? Like people aren't reasoning, right? That's why as leaders, we have to stand up front and, and talk about these things. But one thing I did want to say that you had said, about, standing out. Here's the secret. You want to stand out, be yourself. People hate that. When a person is themselves, they hate that shit. So just be yourself. And, we have somebody new in the room. I want to say what's up to Lego, and then we can swing over to a kid called Beast. What's up, Lego?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me up. I've been listening to what you guys have been talking about. It's really interesting. Great topic here. And I do want to talk about the tribal and tribalism things, tribal, because I think language is important. I don't necessarily think it has to go back with subverting indigenous tribes or anything. I think tribal, that word has been used, or tribe, that word has been used a lot. People say you got to find your tribe. It's a very inclusive word. It's a group of people that you take care of them, they take care of you. And it's a positive thing. But then when you start getting tribal, let's not forget these, tribes used to war. They used to fight each other. They used to kill each other, and it becomes exclusive, right? Like and if you get on the path of exclusiveness where, well, you're not part of our tribe, your voice doesn't matter, or you can't join, then it becomes a negative thing. So I think it's just the actual use of the word. And then I was just one other thing you guys were talking about earlier, just, like whales and individual community members. And I've been a part of those communities where, the whales are kind of like king. They get away with murder. They treat the smallholders however they want. They bully them. And a lot of times it's used to people come in and then they push them out of the ecosystem. They sell for a loss, or they sell for, and I just think that's really promoting whales in these communities. I think is really short-sighted, because the whole point is to develop a network. And, if you've got 10,000 NFTs, the strongest project is going to have 10,000 members. If you got 5,000, you can have 5,000 members. And I don't think that it's a good idea to try to consolidate, get one member to have 10% of the collection, because you're really limiting yourself. You're limiting your intellectual capital. You're limiting your reach. And then you have a situation where one person or 2 or 3 or 4 people can kind of control the project, and then everybody else is just kind of like left out in the cold.
Yeah, man. But there's one thing though that about that is that what is the NFT project? Like that's what I'm saying. Like we're talking completely different things. If we have a membership, right, and so this NFT, this one is, so you hold this, you get into this, right? If I hold 500 of those, why am I holding 500? Am I bringing 500 people with me? You know what I'm saying? Because I need those spread out so that, this tribe that we have, because that's what it becomes, right? Because you have to have this thing to get inside to do business, right? Is this person trying to keep people out and token gate and stuff like that? But then on the other side, it's like, if this is a project that is supporting a business, right, and having a person that would be able to hold and they're part of a DAO and they want to have more influence and reach inside of that, and they have the financial ability to do that, that's what it was designed for, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that point, but I think ultimately, like, if it is, I don't know. I tend to think that like diversity and more opinions. Again, you're right. Like if you're like selling stocks in a company, more power to the person that can accumulate more and have more of an influence. But if you're really looking to build a network or build a tribe, it seems to me like the more members of the tribe, the more powerful it is.
I'm right there with you, man. I think, like the strength is in the numbers, right? I fully agree with you. If you've got, people who, and trust me, there are projects that I own, like, that many, a big supply of, right? Like that's just how, what you're in to make money. Is that the right way to do it? No, I think if you want a stronger community, if you had a 10K collection, you had 10 people in your community, that's going to be far superior than the 10K collection that where everybody's got 4 of them, right? And then you've got 25% less or 25% group, whatever, as your community. And so I agree with you, but that is the market. The markets dictate, freedom of choice, and if as long as we're putting in whale contributions into the contract where people can mint up to 50, that's never going to go away. I think it would be wise for maybe some projects, and I think if you're doing like a membership, or if you are doing a community where you want those numbers, just throw down that max mint to like 2. That's it. Like let people maybe have 2. Like you don't need people with 50 of them unless you're trying to accomplish something else with your collection. If you're just trying to mint out, that's one thing. But if you're trying to build a community, which I think there's a lot of people in this room specifically, I'm one of those people. Like I told you, if I ever start a project, I'm not starting a project to mint the fuck out. I'm starting a project to build a community that's greater than anything anybody's ever seen. That's my goal, right? We're all in it for our own reason.
I mean, like the one, I want, real quick, Sheesh, before you go here, because I want to say something on that. Because, like, if we look at if we go back, right, during the bull and how projects were pushed, right, I can think of one project in particular, had a bunch of different like trait groups, and they convinced a bunch of community members to freaking like run shit for free and like try to pump. And the whole idea was to buy up as many of whatever your shit that you wanted to do. And then they were going to create this thing that was so cool that people would want to get in. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then you'd be sitting on this bag of these things that people would just be so desirable. And that's where, then that's your payment for your time of investing in. And then the leadership never did anything, right? And that's kind of what, right? Like, oh, we're going to get in this project and it's going to pump. What are we trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Like that's, and then in this, right, like as a community member, as someone who's collecting, you know what I'm saying, like what's that pressure doing to the founder? You know what I'm saying? Because now nobody knows what the hell is going on. We don't know as a community what our own strategy is. We're not working together. I don't know. I don't want to get off too much because a kid called Love's had to stand up for a hot minute. And so I got to make sure to, be respectful, because if he been working in the gym and the whole thing. Go ahead.
Let's go. We got Sheesh first, Sheesh, and then Kid, then Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I love you, bro. I think that, you're right, J Chains. This is a free market. People are going to do whatever they want. I think as a founder, you have to determine what your needs are. And there's no, like, I think, yeah, whales can be toxic, but I think we need to promote education of how people who are onboarding to Web3 that want to participate can be more responsible with their community, right? If you're holding 50 of these, you don't like dump the whole bag when it's 10x. Find key people to add to your community and, give one, sell one, like make a deal for one, like make a trade for one, really try to like spread out that impact that helps the community longer term, because usually those whales are aping in because they're helping the treasury, and that treasury is another part of helping a project grow, right? We just put a whole bunch of money in that founder's hands to get that 50, and we hope they allocate those resources properly to bring more community. But if you ask me how I really feel about it, I think that we don't really need whales. I think if you are a smaller project, you maybe make a smaller collection with a smaller amount of people, and that will actually have the same economics as like the Bored Apes, where your small community will create demand, price floor will go up, and then you can create a secondary collection for your new community members and give some sort of first advantage to the previous collection, some sort of unfair advantage that gives them an up because they were your first members. And that's only right in a free market, right? So, and make a load balancer out of it, really get the new onboarders to understand, hey, there were people that were here first and they're here for a reason. But you're here now in my community, and the same thing I'm doing for them, I'm going to do for you later. You know, if we all work together, we're going to make sure that like we're not affected, and we're going to work for ourselves, and we're going to help appreciate the whole collection. And eventually it won't be about the collection. It'll be about the brand.
Boom. Like that. Because that's I mean, I think that should be, in my opinion, probably your end goal. If you are starting a project, your goal should be to be building a brand, right?
That should
Beautifully
be
said.
that should be the end goal.
Beautiful.
Go ahead, Ardo.
Everyone gets tied up in all the specifics that are 5 levels below, instead of worrying about that branding. What are you doing to get your name out, and not just within the Web3 space, which is very small, by the way. What are you doing to get your name outside of it? What are you doing to expand? What are you doing to have partnerships and relationships with organizations or people that you can benefit, but that can also benefit you in taking what you're doing to the next level? And so you have to have creative forms of marketing, of relationship building, of networking, of idealism in this space in order to accomplish that, right? We're not in a bull run, so that whole euphoria hype behind projects doesn't really exist right now. So we're in the build market. And so because you're building, what are you doing to build? Saying it means nothing. What are you doing? Even if it's something simple. Again, back to paragraph number 1, situation. What are the specifics? So accomplish that, and you accomplish a lot, because you have something tangible in your hands that you've written down, just like when you're doing a bubble chart for a research paper, that you can go and have a plan in place that you can follow. Even just coming to Spaces events and saying, hey, we're here to support Web3 Breakfast. We're not here to shill, but this is our name, real quick, who we are, what we do. Boom. And then you move to the next event. Go down to local businesses and let them know this is who we are and this is what we do, and see if you can get their support in exchange for doing something for them, even if it's something small, right? Supporting their local fundraise or showing up to a sports event. Then you go to the IRL events, but don't just go as a fan. Go as a builder and take it seriously. Look, all of us on this screen right now, I'm telling you, once we're not interested in just meeting people and partying. We're interested in people who want to build with us and build linearly to us. And so having an audience in Miami, having an audience in Los Angeles, having an audience in Austin, to where when we come there, we don't have to tell people who we are. They already know who we are.
Listen, there's not really much to say back to that, Ardo. Unequivocally, that is the mission. That's the goal. We are building something that it's not being done, and I don't think that's not to sound funny, but the goal is like, get on with us or get the fuck out of our way, because we are going to be doing some things to turbocharge. And I love that, I say that all turbocharge, and my homie Turbo up here too, but we are literally doing things to turbocharge this entire ecosystem. And the point is going to come very soon, and we're going to have to say, people, if you want to get with us, now's your time. If you don't, that's cool. Like, that's your free will. You are more than willing to do whatever you want, but it would be in your best interest to figure out what we're doing, because we're doing some big things.
Yeah, and on that point here, real quick, I'm gonna mute everybody else so they can't hear us, Jay, because you remember that night you told me that you wanted to get a neck tattoo.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
I did.
Okay, and do you remember what it said?
Made it.
Okay, and so I'm just gonna say, like, we've become very close, and the things that we're doing, like moving to the same town and stuff. I don't think that you should get Made It tattooed on your neck if I'm Turbo Made It.
Fine.
Love you. You guys are a good pair, bro.
I mean, like, I don't know if you thought about it. I don't know if you thought about it like that. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just, I mean, I don't want it to, Okay, sorry.
No, yeah. Hey, look, you put it into proper perspective. Yeah. We'll change the design of the neck tattoo. But the whole idea of that is that to me is that's the reward for being in the. That's just the reward for accomplishing the goal, for being the mission.
Look, to the audience, J Change got to sit on a very serious business call with myself the other day, and someone who's very significant to media, both Gen Z and current generations above it. And something really, really big is coming. I mean, you're talking about someone who, with the sign of a piece of paper, can instantly change the course of how your future looks because of the people that they're in contact with. And then when you get through the process, seeing like, wow, this whole thing has been about that third currency, the whole thing.
Remember, cash, fiat, crypto, that is not the main currency of the world, guys. We got 4 currencies, and cash money is the last of them. It's knowledge, relationships, I forget, and time. Maybe not in that order, but we can unequivocally tell you that if you master those first 3, then the cash will come. But you got to get those first 3 squared away before anything. Let's go to a hand. Let's go to Lego. Or let's go to Woody. Actually, sorry, Lego. Let's go to Woody. Woody, first time I've seen your PFP up here. Welcome to Web3 Breakfast. Appreciate you joining.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me. After you said that, man, I had my hand up, but like 100% I agree with what you said. And really just to add to that, as far as like community founder responsibility, I think too many communities, they stop in Discord for 2 seconds, ask when moon, what's the utility, where's roadmap, and then they take off and then they act like you're supposed to pump their bags. I mean, yes, a founder has a responsibility to do something and to build, but if you don't believe they're doing that, don't get in the project. But as a community, the strongest communities are the ones that band together and create all these little subgroups. Wob.eth was talking about that this morning. You know, they start I get Twitter pages all the time from just fans of a project. And I get in there and it's had 30, 40 people. You know, I mean, that's where the real gold is. You know, that's where the tight community bond is.
Woody, I love that, bro. Because like Jay, if there's nothing else that I've like, the one thing I'm fired up about this, right? Because, taking kind of everything that everybody's kind of talked about and thinking about kind of what we're working on and stuff, it's like the OG collections, right? They can't be the gatekeepers to keep everybody out from everybody, right? You're building this huge tribe, and then inside you're building communities, right? These derivatives, these other projects that are coming off, they're supposed to be a part of this ecosystem, supporting each other. They're not extra ways to make money, right? They're ways that you can begin to extend because you can't get 10,000 people on a yacht. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's
hold my beer, Turbo.
Huh? I'm sorry?
I said, hold my beer, Turbo.
Well, I know. Not 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Not 10,000. But you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and here's the thing, Carmen. I know you would never sell, shit, my bad. Hypothetically, you know what I'm saying? If this was a thing, I know that you would never give a greater expectation than what you can provide to the people who support you. And that's the difference. And how you grow, and the community has to come together and understand that we are together, right? Tribe, community, whatever you want to call it, right? But we're not freaking customers, and we don't want to treat our people like customers. And so if you don't want to be treated like a customer, don't act like a customer. Be a part of the community or the tribe or whatever name we want to give it, right? I don't know. I was fired up on that. Lego.
I love with that, like going into this, you're not a customer.
Oh, sorry.
No, my bad. Go ahead, bro. I forgot what we were doing.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, sometimes the conversation gets away from you, but I think you brought it back to where I wanted to go with that customer. Because I wanted to go back to the whale thing. You know, I come into NFTs for the same reason I came into crypto, and that, you know, that's for, you know, financial gain, passive income, things like that. I mean, I'll be straightforward about it. I know some people are here for the art, this and that. For me, if I want art, you know, I'm probably going to find a more traditional artist, because at the end of the day, if I like your digital image, you know, I can right click on it, I can have it printed out, I can put it on my wall. Even the IP law is still unsettled. But what I see these whales as, I see it as does the project, do the founders, do they add value or do they extract value? And what I see whales as is an extraction of value. It's either the founders extracting value out of certain community members that want to keep throwing money into that project, or it's the whales ultimately wanting to extract value as, you know, exit liquidity for the new people coming in. And I think if the founders are doing it right and they're building value and they're creating value, enough people are going to come in on their own, and it's going to, you know, you're not going to have, you know, you're going to have a demand in the market for the product, and that's going to build the value in and of itself too. So that's really it.
Look, can I play devil's advocate for that real quick? Because there's a couple things there I feel like I need to address. I think the IP law is only gray because there hasn't been legal precedent in the books to use current IP law to create a precedent that says, you know, IPFS as a means of publishing is a way to show that I've actually published this and it actually does belong to me. And, you know, if you go to the Library of Congress and you look up how to copyright something, putting something on a USB and putting something on a CD and sending it to the Library of Congress is giving them proof that the IP is yours. That CD can be just as easily copied as right-clicking a link in a picture. But
Yeah,
there,
I guess I maybe I confuse things with it when I
No,
shouldn't even have brought up
but
IP.
right, gray area.
But
I think we need to start setting a tone that says, hey, if you publish this first, it's your art. But also understand that fair use laws are a thing. If I take your PFP and I throw a red dot somewhere, I mean, technically speaking, that's now my IP. You know, unless I showed I had access to yours first, and that's where the struggle is. So I think a lot of it needs to be, you know, brought into precedent, put on the book, so that way it's solidified. But I don't think it's as gray as we think it is. I think if you publish your original artwork first, the IP is in your favor.
yeah, see, I guess that's my point. Like, whose artwork is it? Is it the guy that holds the NFT or the person that?
Can I speak on this really quick though? Because I've been thinking about this really hard, and I don't mean to disagree or you know, cut anybody off, but we're talking about American law. What's to stop somebody in Indonesia printing 1,000 CDs that are copyrighted, selling them, doing it on the internet, and saying, "Watch me do it"?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the problem.
That's why I
We are
tell you to
worldwide.
protect your stuff at all levels. So if you look at
Exactly, but we
Hold
are
up, hold up, hold
worldwide.
up, hold
So
up.
I mean, American law, you can't
Yeah,
hold.
okay,
somebody.
hang on. Yep, I did it, Jay. It was me.
I know
Turbo did it.
we had about 4 people
Damn,
talking
I'm
at the same
sweaty as
time. It's
hell,
all good.
Jay. Jeez, I'm excited. Don't look at my armpits on
if
camera.
you,
Holy moly.
if you
Everybody's
look at
fired up.
trademarks, if you look at trademarks, right? This is why I tell people to protect
Hang
their
on.
stuff.
I gotta unmute everybody. Before
You have,
you know, because
I can hear you.
Yeah. Ardo's coming
Oh,
out.
can you-
Ardo's
Ardo, can
coming
you
out
hear
of. Ardo's coming out of mine because he's in through the StreamYard here. So
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'll unmute everybody. I just want to make sure we just everybody has a voice. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to get unheated. You know what I'm saying? We're talking community. You know what I'm saying? And so just wrapping it right around. Hit the retweet button. I'm unmuting, and then Ardo, you kick us in, okay? Because I want to make sure everybody can, in case they want to interject, then we kick them off the stage or whatever. You know, if it gets too nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to make sure everything's fair. You know what I mean? Like as fair as we make it or whatever. You know. So, are you ready, Ardo?
Yep.
All right, everybody, we're going to come back together. We're going to get to everybody, okay? You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a good conversation, and go.
So this is why you have different echelons. It's the same when I tell everyone, when you step into this space, protect what you're building. You have local trademarks, you have state level trademarks, you have a federal level trademark, and you have an international level trademark. That federal level protects your name, your logo, whatever it is that you filed for inside of that federal territory, right? Just call it continental United States. If you wanted to protect yourself, OCONUS, outside of continental United States, you need international copyright or trademark. What that then does, it then sets the precedence to say, hey, you might be outside of my country's borders, but I do have international protection of what I built. Inside of the borders, this was called the 50% law, right? If I take, let's say, the logo that J Chainz made and I try to use it, for one, I have to prove that I used it first or that he had the initial artwork before I came up with it. And for two, it has to be more than 50% difference if he created it first. It doesn't mean I can't use a rendition of it, but there has to be more than a 50% difference, or he can issue me a cease and desist. What that cease and desist means is that I am to take down everywhere I have used that logo, that name, that brand. And if I don't comply, he then has the legal right to go after me. So there are some things in place, but there are some, the gray area is the knowledge, right? The gray area is the knowledge, second currency of the world. And that's because it's no different than like when people break some traffic laws and they have no idea they broke the traffic law. And then here this officer says, well, this is the law you broke. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. So because no one is taking law books and sitting down and reading them all, right? So the only way to understand what you get involved into is to know your rights and to know the laws or the policies or regulations around those rights. When there's a lack of regulation or clarity, then you do have some issues, but most of it becomes because of that lack of knowledge. And that's the same that goes with like this Howey test. They're trying to apply a 1930s test to technology that's almost 100 years later. And that test was created when stocks were still on actual paper. The digital era wasn't a thing. So this is how we get into these issues. Some rules do apply. The best thing you can do for your name, your brand, your organization, your community is to protect what you have first and foremost, because at least you have something in place that you've prepared instead of having nothing in place.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Excellent
the law only matters
rebuttal
to people that get caught. And you know, that's the only time that law matters. As long as you're protected and you can catch them, then you know you can press it. But you know, today's conversation is really about community, you know, founder responsibilities, you know, I mean, like, in IP is a thing, you know, and we definitely should have a conversation about this, Jay, you know, to where we can better prepare the conversation, you know, with people being involved. Because look, I'm gonna tell you right now, intellectual property, if you've ever had to get an intellectual property lawyer, it's $400 an hour easy out the gate. That's going to start you out right off the top, because there's so many gray areas. There's, you know, some people say 10% difference. Some people say this. Some people say you can email yourself, all this. Look, we'd have to better prepare for that. And so I would definitely just like to kind of re-swing us right back in. You know what I'm saying? I know Sheesh, you had a rebuttal, but if you save it, because look, we're coming to Austin, bro.
No, I'm good, bro. Like that was excellent. That was actually like the perfect answer, bro, and that kind of covered, I think, everything, you know. I actually gotta run real quick. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate y'all. Talk soon,
bro. You know you're welcome anytime. Make sure you tap in, and we're definitely looking forward to getting down to ATX, my dude. We are coming down to the short strokes here. Let's go.
You got it.
Hey, and just to close that out, I mean,
can I say something real quick?
Look at what we're in right here. Make something like this and throw it online for sale and see just how fast you get hit with a cease and desist.
Let me jump in here real quick, because I really want to apologize.
Can we get the hands, Lego? Lego, can you respect the hands?
I had my hand up, brother.
You're good.
I just want to.
Mine was up before yours, right?
All right, go ahead, man. Go ahead, bro. If you got. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it, bro. I just don't want nobody feeling like their voice is more important than anybody else's. But Woody's was hands up before mine. So Woody.
I see. We're policing our community. I love that. Let's
Well, that's respectful, 100 for real. I wanted to mention something about the whales. I don't know if everybody's unified on feeling that whales are a negative aspect of the community, but I've seen them do detriment to people. I've seen them dump 170 NFTs and watch newcomers sell their stuff at a loss. But I've also seen some of the strongest communities out there get held down through crypto winter with large bags, and they hold them. And what they do is they bleed them out over time to good holders. If I see somebody that I want in a project, I'll give you an NFT. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
If I want you there, if I believe in it that much, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, hey, try this out. Smoke on this.
So
I'm not
love
trying
that
to just
approach.
disagree.
There can be,
but I do think that they're important. They're a part of the ecosystem, just like everyone else. I can't say all the time that they're great, but that's my piece on that.
No, man, that trust me, that makes a lot of sense. There are responsible whales, there are irresponsible whales, there are responsible people, there are irresponsible people. I think, and no matter what facet in life you're thinking about or looking at, you will be able to apply that same thing to everywhere. The doctor is in. Let's hear from the doctor, and then Lego.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning. I just wanted to say, since we're talking about community and founders, I heard a discussion the other day where they were saying like, oh, it's part of the community's responsibility to do XYZ. Like, I feel like once I enter an NFT project and give you my money, that's kind of like where the buck stops at what I got to do. I showed you my support. I gave you my ETH, right? Because you said you were going to do something, not that you needed us. You get what I'm saying? So if a founder is not ready to take on that task of being like that 24/7 workaholic in terms of their project, then that's like kind of on the founders. I don't think it's on the community, because that community buzzword came in and people got caught up on it to the point that they got wrecked. Oh, I can't sell. The people will talk about me. They'll sell shame. So now you're stuck holding the bag. But the founders, they got their money. They're gone. They're chilling on the coast of St. Ives, wherever the fuck they at. You see what I'm saying? So it's more so like, yes, when you're part of the community where the founder is a great person, they're doing good things, the community automatically is going to do actions that help this project. But when the founders are like lazy or not communicating, what community is going to really be like into it to the point where they believe in it still? So I think we got to like take blame off the community if a project's, going down or sucks, and really lay blame at the founders who really weren't prepared to take people's money.
Yes and no. You can definitely see both sides of the argument there. I think, at the end of the day, it has to be a collaborative effort between the community and the founders, because we all know the founder could wreck a project in an instant, and the community could turn toxic and wreck a project in an instant. As far as like, one of the things that you had alluded to was, like founders being able to, taking that money, are they responsible with it and whatever. I will tell you, I'm from the crypto class of 2017. I saw projects taking $30, $100, $200 million, and they did fucking nothing with it except for take photos on their yachts and with their Lambos, and that's it. They didn't market, they didn't do anything. And that's how, I think I would think that at this point, because of all the transparency and because we are a little bit more of a mature ecosystem, we've seen some project founders, they still fuck around a little bit, but we're seeing more and more of these founders do the right thing because they know they can't get away with it. If you do nothing to your project, and then all of a sudden it's you and your Lambo, or you got all these, your Dan Blazarian, all of a sudden you got chicks and coke and drugs and drinks and everything everywhere, the community's gonna be like, yo, dude, what the fuck? Like, I got this NFT thinking that we were going to build something, but clearly you were just looking for yourself. So I do appreciate that we're seeing that go a little bit away. Yes, Turbo.
Yeah, I want to say something on that too, because
and then Lego, you're next.
Yeah, and Doc, because the thing is, Doc, what I hear is that the person that comes in and they buy it and they want that person, they want to see, right? That's an investor. You're not a community member. That's okay. We're not asking you to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? You have if you're just coming in and you're putting your money in and you're like, yo, I'm just want to see what's happening. Thank you for, putting in, and, thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully they use the funds right, because that's really kind of where the buck really should be. You know what I'm saying? If they're using the funds right, whether you do something or don't do something as a community member, right? They should always be using the funds correctly. But if you're just coming in and you're not being involved, you're not a community member. You're an investor in the project. And so anything on that, Doc?
There was wars at the same time too, right? You had projects out there that had a name. They saw another project inbound and they didn't want that project to take over their fame, quote unquote. So they're minting out that project and then selling out the floor. Or there's people that would come in because they didn't like the NFT that they got. And so they decide to scream scam and FUD and all this other stuff. Well, if I have an NFT project and you mint, I'm not beholden to you not getting the one that you didn't like, right? So that's just the luck of the draw. At the same time, we know what happens in bear markets too, right? People pack their lunch boxes and they go home. And then they want to come back when they can get a 10,000% gain again. So Turbo is right. There's a difference between the investor and the community member. And a lot of people come into your Discord or things like that, and they don't always have the best intent. And we've heard this saying before, everyone that says they're for you is not always for you.
I love that. All right, Lego, you are up next, sir.
Yeah. So I got kind of two things here. One, I definitely agree with the doctor. I think you vote with your money. I think what you're saying about community members becoming toxic and not supporting, I think if the founder adds value, people aren't going to become toxic. People aren't going to FUD their own bags. The narcissist, that's like 1 to 3% of the population across history, across civilizations. So there's not going to be people that are just going to start FUDing the project for no reason. There's always, nobody breaks bad for no reason. There's always a reason behind it. So if the founders are shepherding the community well and they're bringing value, I think the community or the investor or whoever is going to support them. And then just speaking to the IP thing, I just want to apologize to everybody. I didn't mean for that tangent. My background, I spent like years in China working for the Motion Picture Association, working for the IFPI. We found counterfeit CDs, counterfeit DVDs being sold in Walmart in China. So all I was saying is if you're saying that you're into NFTs for the sake of the art, I love art for the sake of art, there's nobody stopping you from right-clicking, taking it to your Kinkos or whoever, printing it out, putting it up on your wall, and that's that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I wasn't really trying to get into IP discussion. I'm just saying that you have to add some kind of value, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're just taking money.
Hey, market rate alert. Market rate alert. The S&P 500 is crashing.
Oh, geez.
It's down 1.5%. So I just want to put that out there as a leader to everyone. Be very vigilant right now because we have seen that have a direct correlation to where they start stepping in the crypto space to take profits. So be very vigilant. Watch Bitcoin right now because it's going to control the movement of the other tokens. But the S&P is down about 1.5% right now.
We're seeing some candles. I'm looking at the ETH chart right now. In this last hour, we've gone, I think, down a couple, or almost 0.5%. So,
screen, Jay?
What's that?
Can you pull the chart on screen, please?
Yeah, I can do that. And then while I do that, Doctor, go ahead, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap it up.
I want to chime in on the IP now. I'm not that knowledgeable in IP, but what I do know is that I believe when you give a company or owner gives IP away, it has to be some paper signed. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure you got to sign some papers. And I just think like part of the scam that's going on in this space is projects coming out saying you have IP rights when you really don't because people don't understand. So can somebody just talk about that as far as do you have to sign something for IP? Like I'm a company and I want to give IP to holders. Do they have to have legal documentation that they actually have the IP?
I don't think so. No, because
no.
I get
unless it's your actual person, right? So as an athlete, before they came out with NIL, I did not own my own image once I signed my scholarship. It belonged to my university and to anyone else they lended it out to, such as Getty Images. Everyone's heard of Getty Images. So there's images out there of me right now that exist with a watermark over it, where I don't own my own image because it was pre-NIL. So when it's your person, it's different. When it's your
So like
registered
Yuga,
logo,
Yuga doesn't own copyright. Yuga doesn't own copyright or trademark. So how can they give IP to holders?
because if it's something you create, you have the right to give it out.
So you know what? That's Doc.
Yeah, so
But you got the right, but you have the
yeah.
right to take it back verbally. If you verbally give it to somebody, you have the verbal right to take it back. I'm not seeing
Yeah,
the
but verbal contracts. I mean, by the legal law and stuff. I mean, and because that's what it comes back to. But you know, that's kind of the thing, Doc. You know, we definitely we gotta have this conversation, Jay.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Without a doubt.
I've been working on this one in the background, and this
Yeah.
one is special to me. So I'm going to get Richie Rich. Richie Rich is the founder of the Mutant Grape Wine Club, and so what he's also got Half Baked, and so what they do is they lease out their IP. Or you can lease out your IP to get on cannabis packaging, to get on wine bottles, that kind of stuff. So, you know, he's a guy that I know in this industry that's doing some things. I want to get some more IP people in here because that's a great conversation, because then we can start educating people on income streams, whether they're passive or you know, you got to put in a little time, effort, whatever it is. So that's going to be that'll be a focus. I think, you know, next week we got a big show. I'm planning this Sandbox Builder show for next week, Lil Dilf. I want you to be a part of that. I got, you know, Sandbox even responded on my tweet yesterday. So if we can get them to pull up, dude, that'd be big. I got one more hand, Woody, and then we're going to do our little outro. So go ahead, Woody.
All right. Since we're on the IP thing, I just have a question, and I totally don't know. I would like it answered, because when the ordinals came out, apes were being on the ordinals, and I saw a lot of people saying on Twitter that they do not give right or permission to their likeness or to use their NFT in the ordinals. Does anybody understand how that worked? Like, I mean, you just literally steal an image and then put it out on ordinals, and that was
so the guy Jason Williams, Going Parabolic is his name. I thought he was a Bitcoin maximalist. Him and I've known him for years. So I asked him, you know, like, you know, what was the point of all this stuff? And we could definitely get into this conversation another day, because I think there's a lot more to unpack into it. You know, the whole ordinals thing, I don't even want to talk about that. But basically, all he did was send his ape to an address saying that it was burned and sacrificed to now inscribe into the ordinals ecosystem, which to me is a joke. It's all laughable. I don't care everybody's position on it. Like, to each their own, whether you're in here for ordinals or not. Hey, that's your thing. I am not ever going to waste any kind of Bitcoin for that. I don't think that technology was made for NFTs. I think it's got a lot of other use cases. NFTs and carrying data is not it. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, so we can definitely do an entire show on IP and how all of that goes. Now, if anybody wants to add anything additional to his question, please feel free. But I think, you know, for that whole thing to just send your ape to another ETH address saying that you've burned it to the Bitcoin ordinals, to me makes zero sense.
And Jay, you know, like if you can hear me, my phone has died, so I'm no longer in there. So, you know, we're coming up. We have 1 minute left. You know, it's time to wrap it up. We talked community, we talked founder responsibilities. You know, and look, man, I'm gonna be honest, Jay. It's taking a lot for me to hold my tongue right now. But
based on what we were going to do, where we are this conversation. Yes.
Well, and I mean, just, you know, I'm big about your word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
I
got
hear
to do the right thing, no matter where you are, no matter whatever level. It begins with integrity. And that's how we build a good community at the bottom line.
That's how we build trust.
You
If I can't trust you, then what? But with that being said, you know, guys, we'll be back. We'll get it all squared away. But you know, we'll be back tomorrow for some more Web3 breakfast. This was a great conversation. Appreciate everybody for turning up. Anybody that contributed to the conversation, came up on stage, or if you just listened. You know, typically we run the show for an hour. We did it for 2 today because not only was the conversation riveting, but when community wants to participate and really engage, there ain't no way we shutting this thing down, because that's what we are here at Web3 Breakfast, is a show for the community by the community. So again, thank you all for joining us. I sure do appreciate you. We got a lot of stuff planned today. It is Wednesday. Let's see, we got Champagne Wives Club Wind Down Wednesday tonight. There are spaces all throughout today. Just be on the lookout for some links. I don't even have here we go. Here's my calendar.
Yeah, it's just easier just to set the bell. Just set the bell.
There you go. Just set the bell, guys. Set a bell for me, Turbo, Kenton, Awesome, Showbiz, Carmen, Dilf, everybody. Just remember, we want to start following everybody here in this community. Special announcement, Discord. It's happening. It's happening soon. So get ready for that, because we are going to try to really have a community hub for all of us to get together, think, collaborate, grow, and become the community that we envision. So, guys, have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you so much for tuning in for Web3 Breakfast. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Ciao for now.